Good morning. We are here, Monday morning motivation once again.
Yes, happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday. I am Chris Cook in Nashville, and if you are brand new, you may have absolutely no clue who I am. So I am a proper human diet recipe creator turned, I don't know, health topic person. Kind of
one of those guys.
Whatever you want to call those. I hate saying health influencer because I'm still working on my own health journey as much as anyone watching the channel is, and don't necessarily know if I should influence anybody, but I just like to put out this information for you guys and let you kind of be educated and inspired so that you can go advocate and do things for your own health. I've lost 130 pounds on a proper human diet, mostly carnivore, some keto as well. This is my lovely wife, Ash Taylor, the amazing country artist. You can find all of her info at ashtaylor.com, and you can go listen to her brand new podcast, Asphalt, all about life on the road with not just musicians, but people of all different varieties who live their life on the road. Super cool. Go to ashtaylor.com, you'll find all of that, but we're talking about some interesting stuff today, and I think this is going to be really good. So I am going to probably go ahead and dive right in.
Sure.
And would love for you guys to say hello in the chat. Make sure you can see us, hear us. If you're not here, let us know that too.
Yeah.
All of these things. But please say hello in the chat, and we'll come around and say hi and answer questions. If you have questions, drop them in the chat. It can be about anything we're talking about today. It can be about keto, carnivore. You can ask us questions about what our favorite color of underwear is to wear. I don't care. Whatever you want to ask questions about, go for it, and we will talk with you guys. But we're talking about something really important today. This is a really, really important topic, and I just want to give you guys as much, hopefully, inspiration and something to think about, and maybe something that you can use to help the people in your life, help yourself in your own life, and talk about some of this stuff. Now, I am not a doctor. You are certainly not a patient of mine, even if I was a doctor, so there is no medical advice being given here. This is purely anecdotes and my own observations, my own beliefs, my own opinions, my own research, and that is all we're here to do is tell you about that. So before we jump in, I saw we had a super chat that came in from our buddy Mr. Jeff Cox, member of our private community, the band. If you guys would like to join, that is linked down below, and we'll tell you more about that. But Mr. Jeff Cox is an amazing dude and one of our members and good friends, and he says, "Good morning, PhD warriors. Amazing history lesson last week. Super busy today. We'll listen tonight in the art room. Keep fighting the good fight, you beautiful souls. Love you three. I love Mel the most." Everyone loves Mel the most.
Everyone loves Mel, yeah.
Everyone loves Mel the most, and we're all right with that. So, well, Jeff, we love you too, my brother, and we appreciate you. And when you're here on the replay, hello to you.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you.
Yes, that makes such a huge difference. Things like super chats, just to help us keep this whole thing running.
Yeah.
Because we rely on the support of the community to have the resources to do this. So it's really, really cool. So here's what I want to do, guys. We're talking about mental health today. And this is actually a really personal, important thing for me. Because I struggled a lot. And I didn't even know I was struggling a lot. Not just with physical issues, but with mental health issues when we began doing this. And it's really important to get your brain in the right place if you want your body to follow. And this is why I've said before, if you are doing this and you're feeling great and all of this kind of stuff, if you're like me, you will probably not care whether you ever lose another pound or not, right? And I will. I'm going to continue working on, the extra weight and all these things, but I don't panic about that, and it's not my main focus when I wake up every day of how can I lose weight as fast as possible. Some days I feel like I'm great, and other days I'm like, I really would like to lose weight. But regardless, if I never lost another pound, I would still keep doing what I'm doing. And we're going to talk about kind of why that is today, why some of this stuff is so important. So I have some stuff I'm going to put on the screen. I also have linked in the description box all of the sources for everything I'm going to be talking about. And I actually have the outline that I'm kind of using to talk with you guys today down in the description box as well. So I want you guys to go check that out. You can follow along. If you're watching on the replay and you want to copy and paste and print that out, you can. I'm going to put some stuff up on the screen here in a second, and we're going to talk about mental health. So first of all, mental health is a really big thing for me because I was really struggling with my mental health, and I didn't understand this at the time, but carbohydrates had really messed my brain up really bad. I was really addicted to stuff, and I was going through these highs and lows using food like a drug, and I was using carbohydrates to try to essentially medicate myself against all of these things. And I was struggling with depression and anxiety and brain fog and all of these different things, just completely burnt out in life. And there's a lot more things that we're working on and I'm looking into and stuff. And we're going to have more info coming for you guys in the future. I'm going to go deeper into this and talk more about why this is so important, especially for me personally. Share more of my personal story. But to give you a glimpse of this, I was really struggling bad. And when Ash first met me, I was probably over 400 pounds. We're not really sure, but I was definitely close to 400 pounds at the very least, if not over.
I personally think he was over.
Yeah, she's convinced I was over because by the time I stepped on a scale, I had definitely lost weight and changed my life a little bit before I even knew keto-carnivore stuff. So I was probably over 400 pounds. I was very overweight. I was very depressed. I was like no motivation to get off the couch. I was a totally different person. Like who you guys see me being as Chris Cooking Nashville is not the person that I was for a long time. And it's who I wanted to be, but I didn't have the mental ability to be this. So this really changed a lot for me when I started going down this rabbit hole of keto and then eventually carnivore. And what I want to do is talk with you guys about what I've been researching, figuring out why. Because, and this, as we go here in the next weeks and months, and I give you guys more information about what I'm looking into for myself, you'll maybe understand even more of why. But I'm going down this research rabbit hole and trying to figure more of this out because I think there's a lot of people that need help. And my example and the example of so many others in the keto and carnivore world can help people that need this help. So we're going to go down this rabbit hole and we're going to talk about metabolic health and its connection with mental health. Okay, so let's take a look at some stuff here. Let's see. We're going to go back to slide 1. Hey, there we go. I figured it out.
We're doing it now.
All right, so slide number 1. We are talking about this crazy thing that I'm looking into because I ended up feeling so much better, emotionally grounded and calm and all of these kinds of things that I didn't have before. I'm confident in things and most of the time. And there's a lot of things like I think so much better. And there's so many things that have changed for me that have brought me to a brand new place of mental health. So, you know, this is why even if you still carry extra weight, okay, there are more important things than your waist size, right? And it's an important marker of metabolic health and you want to work on it for sure. But that is not the thing that I focus on, and these are kinds of the things why. So let's kind of dive in a little bit to this. So the first thing is we're talking about metabolic psychiatry. Okay, and this is kind of a new thing. This is actually a thing Stanford is working on, and they're taking this new approach of linking diet and mental illness. And I think this is kind of a cool thing. It's almost a whole new field of science here, which truthfully, I think this is actually the normal thing that people have done for most of human history.
Yeah.
And it's really just here in modern history when we've forgotten about these things and we've just started eating junk that we've struggled to realize this, but now we're kind of coming around to understanding this again. So at Stanford, there's a lady by the name of Dr. Shabani Sethi. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not, but who knows. One of the pioneers, what she's doing is showing that things like depression, anxiety, and even bipolar disorder are often rooted in metabolic health issues. This is things like insulin resistance, inflammation, mitochondrial dysfunction. All of this is causing so many issues in our brains and in our mental well-being. So essentially, your brain cannot work right if the fuel system is broken. That's what we're starting to realize. And this whole metabolic psychiatry thing is really, I think, a cool thing that we might be able to use going forward to truly benefit people.
Yeah.
To truly help people. Because I've heard this said multiple times. People say, they talk about like a chemical imbalance in your brain and you need to take medication to fix that. And they go, well, what is a chemical imbalance? How many of each of these chemicals are you supposed to have at any given time in your brain? And how do you stick something in someone's brain to suck it out and measure the amounts of chemicals you're getting? You see what I'm saying? Like this whole idea of a chemical imbalance, we're not really even sure psychologically what you should and shouldn't have going on in your brain. Like we're trying to figure it out, but the brain is infinitely complex. So if you kind of get out of the way of it and you start fixing the diet and you fix the fuel source, what if the brain can fix itself? What if it can do what it needs to do and you don't need to be pumping extra artificial stuff in there? You just fix what you're putting in your body and let the brain do its thing. At least as a general idea. It may not work for everyone, but that's the place where we should start, and then it should be the exception rather than the rule of, hey, here's a pill, here's a whatever, right? So this whole thing of metabolic psychiatry is really interesting, and this is brand new. So we're still kind of learning what this is, and it'll be really interesting to see, but Stanford is kind of on the cutting edge here. Okay, so one of the things they did is they did a study. And this was a pilot study on mental illness. It was in 2023. And I have, by the way, all of the things that I've researched linked in the description box at the bottom. So if you guys want to read any of these things for yourselves, go down there, scroll to the bottom of the description box. You can click on those links, and you can go check this stuff out for yourself. Excuse me. So in 2023, Stanford did a 4-month study. It's a pilot study with people struggling with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. These people were on antipsychotic meds and had metabolic syndrome. Things like obesity, high insulin, low energy, brain fog, all of the things that we all know in the keto and carnivore world as that's a problem with your metabolic system because you're eating too many carbs. Okay? So they put these people on a well-formulated ketogenic diet, no calorie restriction. Okay, so we're not doing the whole calories in, calories out thing. No calorie restriction, just real food and staying in ketosis. So this would be what Dr. Berry would call real, whole, one-ingredient food keto. Ketogenic diet, well-formulated, no calorie counting. The results are mind-blowing. Mental illness severity dropped by 31% on average. 69% of people with bipolar disorder saw clinical improvement. Their life satisfaction went up, their cravings went down, and their metabolic markers improved across the board. This is their weight, their triglycerides, their blood sugar, their insulin, everything. They were not starving themselves, and they were not doing therapy 5 times a week. They were just eating real food and fueling their brains. So they're already on meds. They've already got issues, right? So these are like more extreme cases that people are struggling with their mental health. And you see this significant improvement just by going keto. Nothing else in their life changes. You just go keto, and suddenly they get all of this extra satisfaction out of their life. And this high percentage of people start seeing things like bipolar disorder being improved without any change to medication. And this is something that if you know someone who has mental health struggles that they're actually taking things like antipsychotic meds and stuff for, a lot of times it's like the meds may make the difference, but if anything gets out of whack, it goes bad really quickly. And any improvement you could get in your life that doesn't have to do with meds is such a welcome thing, because who wants to have to just continue dosing themselves their whole life just trying to keep it together? Okay, so that's one sort of example, this study here of Stanford and whatever. So again, this is kind of on the edge, breaking edge stuff here. Next, there was a case study series where they took 3 people with depression and anxiety. And it was 3 adults, major depression, generalized anxiety. They followed a carnivore-ish keto diet, right? So this would maybe be like a ketovore or super meat-heavy keto, maybe almost carnivore, whatever. And they did about a 1.5 to 1 fat to protein ratio. So that's a little bit higher fat than protein.
Mm-hmm.
They monitored their ketones and their glucose, and they met with a weekly coach. All 3 of them had dramatic mental health turnarounds. 2 of them reached full remission of depression and anxiety symptoms in 7 weeks.
Wow.
The 3rd saw complete symptom relief by 12 weeks.
Wow.
So when we say do something like carnivore for 90 days,
Mm-hmm.
that's a really good example of how out of all 3 of them, the longest it took for one of them to see a complete remission of depression and anxiety symptoms was 12 weeks. It was 3 months. 90 days of carnivore or keto to see the true results, right? So the thing about this is, the key to this is metabolic healing through dietary change that's affecting not just your metabolic markers we're all thinking of, weight and blood sugar and whatever. This is actually affecting people's brains in a way that goes so far beyond what any of this kind of stuff normally would. And it's really incredible to see results like this without having to do something drastic with like medication, therapy, whatever. Another one. A brain scan study in Europe looked at people with bipolar disorder who did keto for roughly 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And they did brain imaging. So they actually looked at, I don't know which machine they're using to do this, but they looked at the brain using brain imaging, and they could actually see, different areas in your brain light up when they do these imagings of what's going on. They could actually see a reduction in the excitatory neurotransmitters in key brain areas. Now, I'm a redneck, so I needed that translated. What that essentially means is their brains literally visually calmed down. This aligns with what we know about keto increasing GABA. We talked about that, right? And it also reduces glutamate. Now, a really cool way that I saw this discussed, and I think this is a cool way to think about GABA versus glutamate. It's like the 2 G's of your brain. We increase the GABA and we reduce the glutamate when we're doing keto, and especially carnivore. GABA is like the brake pedal, and glutamate is the accelerator. So when you punch the accelerator without any brake, your brain runs wild and out of control. When you put on the brakes and you let off that accelerator, it slows everything down and it brings you back to the appropriate speed your brain should be running. That's what is happening with those 2 things there. And it's why the increase in GABA and the reduction of the glutamate is so beneficial in your mental health. This is probably where some of this feeling of just peacefulness and calm is coming from for people who go keto or carnivore. On top of that, there's more. On top of that, participants lost weight, had more energy, and 91% of them reached solid levels of ketosis consistently. So when their brains are running on ketones, they're getting not only all of these metabolic benefits, but they're getting the brain change as well. Now, everybody thinks Chris Cooking Nashville is the carnivore guy, right? And most of the time I am. But I'm not like sold on everyone in the world has to be carnivore. I don't know. I'm not a smart enough guy, doctor-wise or research-wise, to be able to tell you any of that one way or the other. But there is some benefit to meat-based nutrition, which is why even if you're doing keto, I think you need to lean meat heavy just to see as many of these results as you can. So if you take the benefits of keto and you strip away even more of the potential inflammatory items, not just the seed oils and the sugar, but also anti-nutrients and plant toxins, you get a brain reset like absolutely nothing else. Meat is loaded with nutrients that your brain needs to feel stable. And when I was doing this research and I was looking at this, this is what starts to click for me of I need so much more of this than I realized that I did, and this is why I was struggling. And again, more info coming for you guys about my own stuff I'm researching and looking into in coming weeks. But this is where this all started to click for me, which is why we have been talking about this and why I have been researching my own mental health and why I'm going to share this stuff with you in the future. So what happens when you're eating meat? What are you getting that's actually making the difference? Well, you get vitamin B12, which is very high in meat, and this is focus and memory. So brain fog issues much? Okay, focus and memory from vitamin B12. Zinc and iron, which are very prevalent in meats. This is emotional regulation. So when you're not getting the ups and downs and the mood swings, that's your zinc and your iron. Creatine for energy and resilience. When you have that long-standing, long-acting, all-day energy, you can just keep going. That's your creatine. Taurine for calming the nervous system. So when you're not all jittery and anxious and all this, and you just kind of seem very stable and you're just good doing your thing, there's taurine. All of this stuff is present in meat. So when you're getting a lot of meat, it's not just that you're removing the other inflammatory stuff. You're getting more of these things that make your brain and your nervous system go, gotcha. And everything calms down and everybody feels a little bit better. A meta-analysis from 2021 found that people who eat more meat have lower rates of depression and anxiety while, don't anybody be upset at me, this is not my info, this is someone else's, while vegetarians are more likely to struggle with mood. I love my vegetarian and my vegan friends out there. I do. We have friends that are vegetarian and vegan, okay? I love them just as much. But you guys tell me and put it in the chat. Have you met somebody in your life who is vegetarian or vegan who doesn't quite seem to have things all together? They seem irritable. They seem like they can snap. They seem like they don't think clearly. They seem like they're struggling with stuff. Not talking about the way they look. There's all sorts of things there we can get into, but I'm talking about the way they think, the way they act, the way they speak, who they are on the inside. Have you met people who are vegetarian or vegan that don't seem like they have that all together? That's a real thing. So essentially what this is saying is we've been lied to. Okay? Clearly our brains are built for nutrient density, not plants and powders. We have been lied to about this whole thing with plants and powders. So let's talk a little bit about the science of what's going on under the hood. So ketones, which is what we're running on when we're doing keto or carnivore, ketones fuel your brain directly even if your glucose metabolism is broken. So when you're trying to fix your glucose issues, your brain can still easily run on ketones and function. It's a very clean fuel source for your brain. Ketones also lower inflammation, which is a root cause of anxiety and depression, which is why I couldn't get off the couch when I was almost 400 pounds, along with the physical pain and just the inability to move and everything else. I had so much inflammation, my anxiety and depression was out of control. Ketones also increase GABA, and that's the chemical that we talked about that helps you stay calm and balanced. Okay, so there's your stable mood throughout the day, which ketones really help you to achieve. They also stabilize your blood sugar so you are not riding this emotional roller coaster all day. Who's been through this? You have a snack, you feel better, then you crash, you feel worse. You have a snack or a coffee and you feel better, and then you crash and you feel worse. And it's like up and down and up and down and up and down. And we do this to ourselves all day long, spiking our dopamine, spiking our sugar, and then spiking our insulin, and then we crash, and then we do it all over again. And not only is that not good, but then it throws off all the other hormones because hormones all work in parallel. Insulin is a hormone, so when you're spiking it and screwing around with it, all the other ones start getting messed up too. Okay, so this emotional roller coaster goes away. So we're seeing real results inside of our mind and inside of the way we think and our mood, the way we have cognition, like all of this. These are the dramatic improvements we see on keto and carnivore. And it's honestly, it's really incredible. Now, there's a couple of things that really I think are at the core of this. So some of this is because we're removing processed foods, seed oils, we're getting fewer crashes, better clarity, we're getting rid of the carbs and the sugars and all of the stuff that creates this, right? And we're getting a calmer and clearer brain and fewer emotional spikes and whatever. There's also an addiction issue that goes along with all of that stuff. And when you take the addiction out of your life, you're not constantly looking for that next hit, so you can actually calm down a little bit. And that makes a big difference in your life. So there's a lot of different pieces that are working together here. And it's really cool to sit back and see that. Now, I want to give you guys sort of a word of caution here, because we are on the internet talking about the public and, you know, various people watching this. And again, I'm not giving medical advice. So a couple of things you need to do. If you are on a medication, if you are watching this and you say, you know what, I need to give this keto or carnivore thing a try because my mental health is not good and I want to fix it. First of all, I encourage you in that. I think that's amazing. Congrats. Welcome. Come join the band. Come be a part of our live streams. Whatever. Link for the band is down below. We're always here on Monday mornings. We have other videos in the comment sections. You can come find us. There's other resources and communities online. Plug in somewhere so you can be supported and you're not on your own. If you are on a medication, especially bipolar, schizophrenia, seizures, any of these different things, you need to do this under medical supervision. You do not want to go changing your diet and just stopping your meds and doing whatever you want to do and suddenly ending up in a place where you are harming yourself or causing yourself to be in a dangerous situation. So don't do that. Talk with a doctor. Okay? I really encourage you to make sure if you want to do this, that's great. Don't try to do this alone. You're not alone. And a medical professional that you have a medical professional relationship with watching over you as you do this is going to make a big difference, okay? And there's a lot of different ways you can talk to a doctor about this, especially if you're not sure if they're into the whole keto or carnivore thing. Dr. Barry has some great videos on this where he says, here's how you talk to a doctor about this stuff so you can go advocate for yourself. So go to Dr. Barry's channel if you're thinking about this. Watch some videos on talking with a doctor and get sort of a guide of how you're going to do this. But make sure you're doing this with medical supervision. Also, something you need to remember, keto and carnivore are not a one-size-fits-all miracle drug where you just do it and everything in your life is immediately perfect. It does not work that way. I wish it did, but it doesn't. Many of us have found this to be a game-changing tool to restore our sanity, our energy, and our joy. So there are thousands, tens of thousands, probably now hundreds of thousands of people on the internet that are publicly talking about what keto and carnivore have done for them, and honestly miraculous sounding things. And I do think no matter where you are, if you're not eating keto or carnivore and you change to that, I do think there are going to be things that improve. What that's going to look like for you may be different than what that looks like for me. So that's why you need to go into this with the mindset, this is not a miracle cure-all. This is a way to make a step in the right direction and start improving my life. And I'm going to keep working on my health. It's an N=1 experiment. I need to figure out what works for me, what goes on in my body. I need to use my medical professionals' assistance in doing this the right way. But I think this is a really cool thing that you can step into and you can try to totally change your life in the process of all of this. So one of the things that you should probably do if you're going to do this is track the different things that are changing in you. Because it's easy for someone on the outside to see you once every 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever, or one person runs into you after, I haven't seen you in 6 months. And other people can see your change. Sometimes it's hard for you to see it in yourself until you get really far down the road. So if you're going to do this and you want to do this in a way that is right, and you're using a medical professional's assistance to do this, there's a few things you may want to consider doing. Using some tools like ketone meters, mood journals, energy trackers, monitor how you are responding to this. Monitor what's going on a daily basis and look for things, like intentionally try to track the things that would matter to you. So improved sleep, clarity, reducing your anxiety, better emotional stability. All of these are key signs your brain is healing, and it does take time. This is not an overnight switch. You're not going to go carnivore and in 2 weeks be off all of your meds and feeling amazing and out there losing 100 pounds. It doesn't work that way. But it can move you in a direction that will slowly improve your life day by day by day. And so if you intentionally go there and track all of those things and keep journals and try looking at your ketones and all of these different tools that are out there, it can give you a day-to-day picture of what's actually going on. And when you are watching it day to day, you will start seeing the changes in yourself quickly because you're actually writing them down and you go, oh yeah, I did feel a little bit better. That's really cool. And then that sparks that commitment to doing it more. And it makes it easier to keep going. And you keep fighting and you keep pushing and you get better and better and better. And you, step by step, can start taking charge of your own health and hopefully experiencing the amazing mental turnaround like I have experienced, like so many other people have experienced. So all of the links are down below. All of the studies are there. All of the info is there. There's the outline of what we just talked about in the description box if you want to go back and review. That's all there. So go check that stuff out. If you have questions, let us know. Drop in the chat. Have any of you guys experienced these kinds of things, mental health improvement? And I'm not saying have you been like on psychiatric meds and now you're not. Like, it doesn't have to be that level of severity. Do you just feel happier? Do you just feel more fulfilled, more calm, clarity, more energy, more mental focus, more any of these things that we talked about? Put it in the chat and let us know how keto or carnivore has affected you if you have experienced any of this stuff. And if you haven't experienced any of this stuff, cool, then tell us that too. And if you're struggling with any of these things and you're like, I really want to try keto or carnivore, drop that in the chat so we can be here and support you. And if you need extra support, our private community, the band, is linked in the description box. We've got a bunch of band members here in the chat, and there's a bunch more people over there. We're in there talking with people and trying to be encouraging. We do extra recipes, some private live streams. You can reach out and message us all directly. There's a lot of really cool stuff. It is linked in the description box. It is the Mighty Networks band member link. So go down there, join if you would like some extra support. We would love to see you guys in there.
Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit in the chat. Let's see what's going on. What do you guys think about this? And also, do you guys like these sort of more research-based, instructional Monday morning lives we've been doing? I know I've gotten some positive comments from people, but if you guys like this kind of stuff, let us know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I want to jump ahead to some super chats really quick. Some really
Let's
important stuff in here. So Blue Diamond Bill.
Hey, Bill.
A $9.99 super chat says, not on topic, but my nephew Evan has been battling cancer 7 years in hospital with pneumonia. Could use prayers for miracle healing. Thank you.
Absolutely, Bill. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that, but we will absolutely pray for your nephew Evan, and we will not just pray for him, but we will pray for healing and being able to completely turn that around. And I'm so sorry that you guys are going through that, but please keep us updated and let us know if there's anything we can do for you, for your family, for Evan.
Absolutely.
Any of them.
Absolutely.
So, and everyone in the chat who is the praying kind, if you agree with us in that, please let Bill know that you'll pray for Evan as well.
Yes, I know a lot of people were praying and saying so, but
wonderful.
yes, keep us posted, Bill. And then Patricia is here.
Hello, Grandma.
Grandma Patricia says, thank you so much for your research. Former vegetarian here and had clinical depression. Love hearing how meat has so much good stuff in it.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing that, and thank you so much for the super chat. Patricia she's been around the channel for a long time, and she calls herself Grandma, so we just call her Grandma too.
She's family.
And she is family of the digital kind, and we love her. So, Patricia, thank you so much for sharing that, and I'm really glad that you are here and away from the clinical depression, maybe as a result of the vegetarianism.
Definitely.
So,
Definitely.
Yeah. Love having you here, and that's such a great testimony. Thank you.
It really is.
Yeah.
Janelle is here.
Hey, Janelle.
She says, good morning, everyone. Oh, sorry, guys. We got the allergies really bad.
It's really bad today. It's been
struggling.
sunny and warm for the last few days, and so now it's like,
if our eyes are all red and we're like coughing, we're fine. Just little allergies.
the cottonwood is blooming and it's rough.
Janelle says, good morning, everyone. Sorry I'll have to be on the run this morning. I'm getting everything lined up to be away for the next week and a half. I'll catch the replay later. Love to you all.
Yep, love to you too, Janelle,
Yes.
and enjoy and have fun with your trip away.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Hope everything goes well.
Sherry Nevada Pup is here.
Hi, Sherry.
Says, good morning, CC and fam. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend.
Yeah.
Carrie's
Hey,
here.
Carrie.
Peggy's here.
Hi, Peggy.
And then Heidi's here.
Hi, Heidi.
She says, good morning, Bam. Good morning, Chris and Ash.
Good to see you.
Yeah. Carrie says, CCN is just rocking out with Ash and Mel.
Doing what we can.
Well, Mel's sleeping.
Mel's always sleeping.
Mel's napping. She ain't rocking. She's a nap dog. Grandma Patricia says, hey, all looking forward to today's sermon.
Mm-hmm.
Heidi's listening while working this morning.
Love it.
Low-carb
Hey,
Spin
Karen.
is here. Love them. So sweet. Aaron is here. Says, good morning from Buffalo.
Yeah, if you guys don't subscribe to Aaron, he does some really cool shorts and different videos on his channel. You guys go give Aaron a subscribe here on YouTube.
Yeah. And also, he says, no cheese for a week.
Hey, there you go. That can be a tough one to give up. So
That can be, man.
Good for you, man. Hopefully you'll get some good results from that.
Absolutely. Dennis is here.
What's up, Dennis?
We love Dennis.
Yep.
And Lacey says, I'm struggling so bad. If y'all could pray for me, I'd appreciate it.
Hey, Lacey, of course we'll pray for you. I'm so sorry about that. Please let us know what we can do to support you and help.
Absolutely. And Pastor Bob is here with us.
Hey, Pastor Bob.
He says, hello, good friends. Excited for the subject today.
Yes. By the way, guys, go over and subscribe to Sanctuary International Matrix if you want to hear some fantastic motivational faith-based videos and really cool stuff from Pastor Bob. He's fantastic. And
there's a lot of people talking about coffee in the chat, which we'll get to in a little bit.
Yep.
But, Coffee with Pastor Bob is
That's
one
right.
of my favorite things to watch on
Pastor
YouTube.
Bob's Coffee Break is
Yep,
one of the
go
greatest
check it
things out.
You guys check it out. It's really cool.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And then Heidi says, don't go there, Chris. You both encourage and influence us to all eat better.
Well, I appreciate that.
I guess we're influencers.
We
I hate
do,
that word, though.
We do what we can. It's that word, I don't mind the word except for the fact that it comes with such a weird connotation.
Yeah.
Because there's things about being an influencer that are really good. And then there's things about being an influencer that are really like, they come with a very big social stigma around it. Like things we wouldn't want to be associated with. So it's a weird word, but we appreciate that. We're just trying to help.
Heidi's like so sweet.
Heidi is great.
She's keeping us in check.
Yes.
Always be kind.
Yeah, I
here.
love that name.
Love it. And I believe it's Salute.
Salute Salil?
Yeah. Says, wow, caught a live.
Well, we're really glad you did.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lacey is watching from Muggy Morning in Michigan.
There we go.
I hate that. Carrie says, hello from Jacksonville, Florida.
Hi, Carrie.
New Carnivore.
All right. I love that. Fantastic. Well, you just got a whole long line of things that you should be able to expect, hopefully, from all of these great things coming in from the meat for your body and your brain. So
yeah, welcome to Carnivore.
That's
if you
great.
need help, have questions, want to share how you're doing, you have come to the right place.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yep, we are here for you anytime, Carrie. Let us know.
Yeah. And Pastor Bob says, let's get healthy.
Yep, absolutely. By the way, guys, if you didn't know, Pastor Bob has lost 140 pounds, reversed arthritis, reversed type 2 diabetes, beat cancer, and he's able to play the piano again because his arthritis is gone.
So cool.
He has more energy, he says, than he's had in decades. He's now flying around the world again because he has the energy to do it and fits in the plane seats again.
Yeah.
And he's just incredible. And he was a vegan for 40 years.
Yeah. He has an incredible story.
Unbelievable story on keto and carnivore.
Yeah, incredible story, incredible person.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Hello, Marie.
Marie's here. She says, morning, just got back from the gym. Great time.
Love it. Good to see you.
Yeah, she's one of our newer band members,
she
too.
is.
Love that. And lots of people are praying for Lacey.
Excellent.
I have to say, guys, I really, I don't have time to clearly highlight everyone's comments, but there's been a couple people that have shared here in the chat that maybe they're struggling with something.
Yeah.
And I love our community here, and this is why I think it's important to belong to a community.
Yeah.
Is because someone will say, hey, I'm really struggling with, all of these things or whatever, and they share that, and before I can even start to type or do anything,
Here come all the people.
Here come all the people just coming to help and support and send up love and prayers. So thank you guys for being such a great community.
I have to give you guys a shout out as a community too. More than once we have had other people from YouTube or other communities that have come on the channel and interacted with us, and it has been a comment I've gotten more than once from other creators and other people saying, Chris, your and Ash's community is really nice. I'm not used to that many people being so supportive.
Yeah.
Because there's places on the internet people are not like that. And we really try to foster that kind of supportive community because I think it's extremely important. And we can try to foster it all day long. But if you guys don't actually follow through and make it that way, it doesn't really do anything. So really it's on you guys. The gratitude and the support and the beautiful things that happen in this community, that's all because of you guys, and we appreciate that, and we love you guys, and just give yourselves a round of applause and a big rock on to all of you for the fact that other people come on our channel and then comment on how great our community specifically is. That's you guys.
Yeah.
So
no, they really, really do. Yeah, we've heard that from more than one person. It's pretty whatever.
Yep, absolutely.
And I just sit here and I go, our group's the best.
That's right. That's right.
Yep. Caleb's Carnivore Quest is here.
What's up, brother Caleb?
Mr. Marty Crumb.
Hey, Marty.
Love Marty. And your dad's here.
Hello, Papa Nashville in the house.
He says, hello, everyone. Sweating here with a broken AC. House was 89 degrees yesterday. Still waiting for the AC man to get here, but this shall pass.
Yep, go climb in the ice box if you need to for a little bit.
I was going to say, it might do some good. And yeah, Carrie is saying, I'm so glad Chris is talking about mental health issues. I deal with this, and now I am dealing with the heat in the house, and it has been 3 years to deal with the heat and heat rash. I am drinking lots.
Yep. I understand. Keep yourself hydrated, Carrie, and just, do the best you can.
Absolutely. Jackie's here.
Hey, Jackie.
Says, good morning from the Oregon coast, actually catching the beginning of a live.
Oh, I love it. Jackie's on it today.
Yeah. And Aaron says, love being in the band. I have to watch the replay later. Thanks for all you do.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Aaron. We will see you over there and hopefully here in the replay.
Yes, absolutely. So Shirley is watching from Canada.
Hey, Shirley.
Says, hope all's well in your world. Keep smiling and be safe.
Yep, absolutely. You too, my friend.
I love it. And Lacey has a great point here. It's been shown that carbs increase dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense that if we consume too much sugar, that it will disrupt the natural flow of dopamine.
Yep, that's right. Did you guys know that one of the reasons nicotine is so addictive is because when you smoke or dip or whatever it is you do to intake nicotine, you get a big dopamine hit from it. And then it crashes, and then you need another, and it crashes, and you need another. So it's lighting up the dopamine area of your brain in an unnatural way. Dopamine is fine, it's a good thing, but it's spiking it, and it's making it go up, down, up, down, up, down. So you get high, low, high, low. Do you know what sugar does when you eat it?
What?
Spikes your dopamine just like crack cocaine and like all these horrible drugs. That's what sugar does to your brain. So just it's just something to consider.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. We got Miss Terry in the house.
Hello, Terry.
I always love seeing Terry. Miss Emily's here with us.
Hey, Emily.
Carnivore Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
Lacey also has another great point. Another point, too, is that the brain needs fat. Not seed oil fat, but good omega-3.
Yep.
It makes sense that since we moved away from animal fat, that mental health became a problem.
That's right.
It's very true.
That's right, because all of those heavy omega-6 seed oils, they cause inflammation all throughout the body, and the brain is in the body.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So very good point, Lacey.
Mm-hmm. And then Jackie says, we have dear friends whose son a year ago started having bipolar with psychotic episodes. We've been gently advocating for keto/carnivore, showing videos from Dr. Barry and Carrie at Homestead House.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Jackie, feel free to forward this live stream to them.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
But good for you for trying to help. It's hard. It's really hard when you see someone struggling and you want to just grab them and shake them and get them to change. But it's like, obviously, that's not the right way to handle that. Mm-hmm. But good for you for just trying to gently advocate and help people who need it. So it's amazing.
And I think, too, this is why I think whether you have a YouTube channel or you post about it on your social media or you just talk to your friends and family and your people at work or at your church or wherever, I think all of us here who have been doing this for a while have clearly seen these amazing benefits of not just weight loss, that's whatever, but like your mental health and your energy and almost like you just come alive again, right? And you actually start living your life. And I think people need to hear that. And so I think that's why it's so important for all of us to talk about this and just be open with our struggles and just share, because that's how you get someone who really needs help like this the info that they need. So
absolutely.
I love that. Good job, Jackie. She also wants to know, will you be sharing the links to these studies?
Yep, they're all in the description box.
Awesome. And then Carnivore Jerry says, last week I did an N=1 experiment by putting off drinking coffee for 2 hours after I woke up, and that was extremely successful.
That's great.
I love that.
That's great. And little things like that can make such a big difference.
Mm-hmm. And then Rockin' Keto Amy is here and says, that is awesome, Jerry. I did an N=1 and tried to reduce my coffee from 2 pots to 1, and an act of nature happened. A terrible storm and a tree fell in my yard. I'm not doing that again. Bad things happen when I don't drink all of my coffee.
That's funny, Amy.
Preach it, preach it, preach it.
That's funny.
And Lacey says, my boyfriend is vegetarian, and she is always up and... Or excuse me, my best friend is vegetarian, and she's always up and down with her mood. Her poor kids, who she fed the same way, look so poorly nourished. I was vegan for 7 years, and it wrecked me in so many ways.
Yeah, and that's a normal, common thing that we hear from people. It's just, you see it happening to other people, it's happened to you, whatever, and people have to work to recover from that. So I'm really glad you're on the other side of that now.
Yeah, it's really hard. Well, and I think what's heartbreaking, though, is I think a lot of these people who are vegetarian, they're just told that is the way of ultimate health. And so they think that they're doing something really good for themselves and their families. And it's really just heartbreaking.
Yep.
So. And Terry says, I had a vegetarian come at me for being carnivore. Everyone around us was like, what's her problem? My carnivore self stayed calm. Had to remind her that if we were dinosaurs, she wouldn't be here.
Yep. There you go.
Oh, Terry, I love you. That's funny. Emily says, I have a colleague who was vegan. She started eating meat after being hospitalized with low iron 2 years ago. Since, she's gotten 2 promotions and has left her abusive husband. Rock on, man. That is awesome.
Fantastic.
That just goes to show even not doing, let's say, like perfect carnivore, just start incorporating meat and stuff.
Just starting to change your life a little at a time, and finding the confidence to do what you need to do. That's great.
Oh, that's so awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Emily. Lacey had this question, and I know some people were giving her some advice in the chat, but I thought, see if you may know anything. Says, is there any info out there that would explain joint inflammation when consuming red meat? Fish and white meat doesn't cause a reaction. The same person has egg intolerance.
I haven't personally heard of anything that would do that, because really red meat is the most uninflammatory food in the world. Because your body is made out of meat. So it's interesting. I think honestly, Lacey, the best thing you could do would be go to a Dr. Barry live stream and just get, it's like a couple of bucks, but buy a super chat so that he'll see your question, because you have to realize the man gets like 10,000 comments in a live stream. He doesn't see it, unless you can make it stand out. So, but go get a super chat and ask him that, because he may actually know scientifically something that could cause that. The only thing I can think of is the egg intolerance is not related to the red meat intolerance. And that would be, your egg intolerance is one thing, but then the red meat intolerance could potentially be alpha-gal, which is usually caused by a tick bite and is a red meat, like mammal meat intolerance, which is why maybe chicken and fish don't cause an issue. That's the only thing I can think of that I've ever heard of, but, again, I'm not a doctor and certainly not an expert in these things.
Yeah.
So I would suggest maybe asking Dr. Barry if there's any other reason or if that would be what it was. But you can also go and have a test done to see if there's alpha-gal, and then egg intolerance may be something totally different. Also, is it just the whites of the eggs, or is it even the yolk? And is it just chicken eggs, or is there also an intolerance to things like duck eggs? Because sometimes if you can't handle chicken eggs, you can handle duck eggs. Sometimes if you can't handle the whites, you can handle the yolks. That would also help narrow that down.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Good point. Tony, your dad says, dinosaurs don't drink coffee, and look what happened to them.
That's
We're
right.
not taking any chances.
That's right. There you go.
That's awesome. And Lacey says, thank you to everyone for the prayers.
Yeah.
Brian is here with
Brian?
us. Says, carnivore and keto are a tool. If you take care of the tools, they will last forever.
There you go.
Love this.
I like that.
Lillian is
Hey,
here.
Lillian, how are you?
Oh, she's such a sweet soul. Says, I started clean carnivore eating OMAD and supplements and salt and beef bone broth, and I am off my meds in 8 days.
That's amazing.
My HbA1c is from 2.2
Yep.
to 7.4 in 12 days and without meds.
That is fantastic.
How
So
cool
just
is
keep
that?
doing that and keep watching that A1C come down further and further. And eventually, you're not going to be diabetic or pre-diabetic or any of those things. You'll just be with a normal A1C.
Which is so awesome. So awesome. And Rockin' Keto Amy says, there are 57 people watching, but only 13 likes. Please hit the like button.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Let me see here. And this is awesome. Lillian also says, I could work like 6 hours a day now. I have energy for like 16 hours.
Yes, and there again, when you do that, especially the carnivore thing, but when you do that keto or carnivore with the heavy meat,
yeah,
you're getting all of that stuff that gives you that sustained energy throughout the day, and it's improving your mitochondrial function, which the energy in your body comes from the mitochondria. So if the mitochondria aren't doing a good job of creating energy, you feel it and you go, oh, I feel like crap.
Yeah.
Mitochondria aren't creating the energy you need because you're not fueling them properly.
It makes a big difference too.
Huge difference.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I love this. Lacey says, I haven't had any depression since coming to faith in Christ. Praise the Lord.
That's great, Lacey.
That's awesome. And you were asking if people like these science-y deep dive things. Carnivore Jerry says, I love the science. Bring it, brother.
Love it.
Terry says, mental clarity was the first thing I noticed. It helped me get to where I am now, free from a toxic relationship.
Yes, I know Terry has talked with us about that, and I'm so proud of you for that, Terry, and that's fantastic. And, based on what Emily said, what Terry said, sometimes, I think things like toxic relationships, abusive relationships, all this, not only is it, it's difficult to leave things like that when you're kind of so close to it, it's hard to see. But think about how much harder it is when you have no confidence, no mental clarity, you're brain fogged, you're no energy, it seems like such a big job to get out of something like that. That I think sometimes we just become complacent in it. And plus we don't have the self-worth to think that we deserve better. I've had some toxic relationships in the past. I didn't realize that, and it took me forever to get out of some of them. So, long before I ever met this beautiful lady sitting next to me, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. And, looking back at it, I'm like, I really didn't understand my worth, and I didn't understand the ability that I had to do the work to get out of those things. But yeah, that's so great though, that it's like, I'm carnivore. Suddenly I see clearly and I can go, nah, I can't do this.
It's almost like living up to your full potential.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, a huge reason, on why, for both of us, kind of like our why.
Yeah.
Because it's like, not only do you start thinking clearer, but you become, you kind of can tell, man, this person is not good for me, or man, I'm not really doing too well. You have the clarity to kind of make better choices and decisions.
Right.
Remove toxicity out of your life, whether that's people or whatever, and then you become a better wife, a better husband, a better parent. You you sort the things that you love to do, like your passions.
Absolutely.
It's really really encouraging. Healthy mama, Marie says, more motivated, energetic, and I sleep like a rock.
That's fantastic. That's the best part too.
Yes, absolutely. And Jackie says, I love this type of content sprinkled in.
Excellent.
Yep. And Amy says, I do like to hear the research.
Yep.
I like it. And Brian says, keto and carnivore opened the curtain. Thank God.
There you go.
Yeah. And Marie says, I love geeking out on this stuff.
Excellent.
Sounds like she came to the right place.
Yeah.
And Lacey says, oddly enough, I get anxiety when I do keto. I don't know if it's an issue of not eating enough or what.
You know, Lacey, I mean, there's a lot of things it could be, but I think maybe one of the potentials is you might still be at a point where you are super sensitive to even those small amounts of plant toxins and carbohydrates. And, you know, if that still throws everything out of whack for you because you eat, you know, a little bit of keto stuff, or, you know, it spikes things or flares things up for you or whatever, just stay away from it. Some people don't experience that. Some people do.
Yeah, very true. I think if I can add something on here, especially if anyone's listening and maybe they're newer, when I first started keto, it was very hard for me, even though I was trying to do meat-heavy keto, I was not eating enough fat and I was not eating enough meat, because to me, mentally, when I first started out, there was this thing of like, well, how could I possibly eat this much meat and fat and it be good for me?
Yeah.
Because my whole life I was told something opposite.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, I was losing weight, but I think the mental clarity for me actually came months and months down the line.
Yeah.
Because then over time I slowly started to eat more fat, and then it was, you know, less veggies were on my plate and it was more meat. And so I think there's, for people that are newer that are just here watching, that is a really solid point.
Yeah.
Of like, if you're like, I don't really feel like I'm getting that, like,
Yeah.
maybe stop and ask yourself, well, how much fat am I consuming? How much meat? Like, because that's one thing looking back, I go, oh,
well, and now, like, so the other day I made steaks and Brussels sprouts, and this lady right here next to me sat down and she ate almost a 1 pound ribeye, and a whole thing of like a low carb Brussels sprout thing that I did, and most of her plate was that steak, and then there was a small amount of Brussels sprouts on the side. I mean, so she ate like almost a pound of fat and meat, and I put butter over top of it, like a garlic butter.
But there is no way when I first started, even my first year,
she wouldn't have even eaten probably half of that steak when we first started.
Yeah.
I used to give her, when I would cook keto stuff at the beginning, I would give her a third of her plate was meat and 2/3 was veggies. And sometimes she still wouldn't really finish all the meat. In fact, she would eat about half of whatever the meat was I put on her plate. Then she'd immediately go and start eating all the veggies. She'd eat all the veggies, and if she was still hungry, she might come back to the rest of the meat.
Yeah.
Now it's like, no. Eat all the meat. Don't touch the veggies until you're done with the meat.
Yeah, and that's literally what I do. Well, and some of my meals are just meat. Like,
yeah,
so
sometimes
it's like,
she eats carnivore with me.
But just a point though, where it's like I was so like, I don't know, I don't want to do this.
Oh yeah, it's very different now than it was, and it's a growing process.
Yeah, it takes time.
It takes time and just move in that direction a little at a time.
Yeah. Blue Diamond Bill says, thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. Evan is on 30 and has 3 young children. Love y'all and truly appreciate your prayers.
Yeah.
We are praying for all of you guys. That breaks my heart. Jolene is here.
Hey, Jolene.
She says hello from Connecticut. Chris and Ash, are you coming up to Boston on Saturday?
No, I wish we were. We were invited to, but unfortunately we have pre-planned obligations that we were not able to get out of down here.
Yeah.
So.
We gotta work, but but we appreciate it. Maybe next time though.
Yeah.
We're gonna do some stuff in the future.
Yeah. Well, we're talking with Alia and Dr. Kiltz about stuff, and we'll hopefully make it up there. So.
Absolutely, yeah. We love that.
Yeah, I sure wish we could be there though.
Yes, have fun if you're going. Cheryl says, thank you so much for talking about this subject, a subject which has impacted my life for so long.
Yeah, well, you're not alone, Cheryl. We're really glad you're here.
Emily says, my brain is why I started this in the first place. I started with carnivore because I was so far gone I couldn't even count carbs.
Yep.
Now my brain is fire, and I'm down 43 pounds. But the brain is greater than losing weight. I mean, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally agree with you, Emily. And honestly, guys, that's one of the best arguments for carnivore if you've never done it. You don't have to count anything.
That is true.
You just eat meat, eggs, fat, and maybe a little bit of dairy until you're full.
Yeah.
That's it. That's as hard as it is. Salt it till it tastes good. Use a few spices if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. Let me see here. Ann D is here.
Hi, Ann.
Says, hi, my friends. Today I wanted to say I'm so happy to be in a place where so many are working towards bringing better things into their lives. Thank you for sharing this space with me.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, thank you for being here.
The community here is so good.
And John says, I just noticed a weird non-scale victory. My belt is at a further notch than it's been, even though the stupid scale says my weight is on the high end of my usual range. That's why I say, ugh, the scale, ignore it.
That's so great, John. Rock on, brother.
That's great, man. Good for you. I love that. And Carrie says, I would welcome prayers for me so that I can find the job I need, going through the heat inside the house without AC. Done.
Absolutely.
Done, man. Lifting up in prayer. Hey, and we got a new YouTube member.
Hey, thanks, Deb. Appreciate you joining the YouTube channel.
Oh, I love that. And Terry says, eating more beef fat helps with anxiety and nervousness too.
Yep,
yes,
absolutely.
It really does.
That fat is so soothing to your brain.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And Jolene says, don't forget to hit the like button.
Yep.
Thank you. Jackie says, praying for Lacey. God knows your circumstances. Praying for him to move mighty in them.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely. Dennis says, I've been low carb for a long time, but have decided to go BBBE and do an N=1 as I've been dealing with some inflammation and brain fog issues.
Excellent. Well, Dennis, that's fantastic. Let us know how that's going and let us know how we can support you.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. And Charlie's here.
Charlie Wallace.
There she is. Says, good morning. I love being able to join you live on the summer holidays.
Oh, well, thanks for joining,
thanks,
Charlie.
friend.
It's good to see you.
Yeah. And Jackie says, planning to join the band when I have a few extra nickels to throw out.
Oh, appreciate that, Jackie. No rush. We'll be there.
We
Appreciate that. We look forward to having you.
And we were talking earlier about what a great community we have.
Yeah.
Andy cracks me up. She says, go us. We rock.
I totally agree. You guys do.
Yeah.
You guys totally
know it.
do.
We know it. We brag about y'all all the time.
That's right.
Brian says vitamin G is the best
Yep,
thing.
vitamin G.
Which is gratefulness?
Gratitude.
Yeah. I missed that
yeah,
quiz.
so I'm assuming that Brian is probably a fan of our buddy over at Keto Camp, Mr. Benazzati.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, he talks about vitamin G all the time.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
Such a big thing. Terry at My Terrific Life says, being an educator, I know for a fact that the violence in schools would decrease if eating was better.
I agree. It may not be the only part of the problem, but it's certainly a part of the problem.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think so. And our new member here, Deb Nelson, says, good morning from California. Just officially joined the band. I just returned from a 2-week road trip to Georgia and back, and we had the chance to stay the night in the beautiful city of Nashville.
Love it, Deb.
So
I'm so
cool.
glad that you enjoyed your stay here.
Yeah, it's a fun place.
Yeah.
I always try to get their name right. Sylvan V says, just made your 90-second bread and made some majes?
Salted herring.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Sandwiches, getting in those omega-3s. So happy I can have sandwiches again.
That's so awesome. That's a great way to do it. You know, I've never had salted herring, but
I haven't either.
I definitely need to look up either a recipe or see if maybe I can find some that has been made properly so I can tell what it actually supposed to taste like, because I've never had it. So
I'd be curious to try it for sure.
I tend to, the first time I have something that I've never had before, unless I can get like a really good YouTube video that explains exactly how you do it, I tend to like someone who has more experience than me making it the first time, so I can taste what it's supposed to taste like, and then I go learn to make it for myself. So have to check that out.
Love it. And Blue Diamond Bill says he loves the Silent Talks too.
Excellent.
Dennis looks like he's a fan as well.
Yep.
I like it. Lacey says, my why right now is that it's too hot to be this fat.
Oh, man, I relate to that.
Oh, Lacey, that kills me.
I relate to that. But you know what's really interesting? I go outside and I actually handle heat so much better now than I did a few years ago.
Oh, yeah. Guys, you don't even know.
Yeah, really, really cool. I'm not there yet, but I'm on the way. It's really cool.
Yeah, in fact, do you want to tell them our goal of getting sunlight every day?
Yeah, so so I told you guys we're doing a bunch of deep dives into things mental health-wise for me, and we'll talk more about that. But one of the things we're doing and why I'm trying to be so intentional about this is trying to fix some stuff for me so I can go to that next level of healing and health and all this. And one of the things I'm doing is every day Ash takes the dog out to the park to go play fetch. And a lot of times while she's doing that, I'm sitting here and I'm working on stuff, answering comments, admin, whatever. I'm not going to do that anymore. When she takes the dog to the park, I'm going to take the dog to the park. And we're going to make sure we get intentional sunlight and fresh air. And we're going to walk there and walk back and this kind of stuff. And just start creating the routine. And it's a huge, huge step. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is a big deal. Because one little change that starts switching up the routine that then leads me in the direction of more sunlight, more fresh air,
Yeah.
a little bit more activity, whatever the case may be, it's a great thing.
I totally agree. Cindy DeManch is here.
Hello, beautiful Cindy.
She says hello on both channels.
Love it.
Love it, love it. Emily says, I've gone from being aggressively angry about summer heat and humidity to an eye roll when I walk out the door. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And Pastor Bob says, for me, the biggest problem is wanting to count calories after all these years of indoctrination.
Yeah.
So happy those days are behind, but I'm still getting used to that, Pastor Bob.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
absolutely.
That's the thing. It can be hard, though, when you do something for so long.
It is deprogramming decades
Yeah.
of bad information we've all been given. I mean, we're fighting a big battle. Like, it is a big battle to fight against, but we're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. The beautiful
Hello,
Miss Evelyn.
Evelyn.
I'm sure Carl is not far behind. Hello to you both. Kim is here.
Hi, Kim.
Says, I'm usually working and miss these, but I'm on sick leave from surgery last Thursday.
Okay.
Has anyone started having big sugar cravings after taking
Taking
oxy for pain?
I don't know if I've ever taken oxy, so I have not personally experienced this. I haven't heard of other people specifically saying it, but it wouldn't necessarily surprise me if you're taking something messing with your mind a little bit.
Yeah.
That maybe it starts craving things.
I have a little bit of a personal thing, but again, I am not a doctor.
Yeah.
I think this would be a great question to go to Monday Night Live tonight with Dr. Ken Berry.
Yep.
And pay for a super chat, because again, the man has so many people there.
Uh-huh.
And maybe ask this question. So my mom has had a series of health issues throughout my whole life, and she has been on oxy for most of my life. And one thing I've noticed is that when she would have an issue and they would put her on it, the cravings would really go up. She could eat a box of Fig Newtons, she'd eat whatever. So I'm not sure why that happens. Again, I'm not a doctor, but my brothers and I have noticed that when my mom does take oxy, she really seems to be craving carbs and sugar quite a bit, and I can't tell you why, but I don't think maybe I don't think you're crazy.
Yeah.
But I think what you clearly might want to do is, especially if you're in pain though, and all that, having the oxy, if that causes you then to have more carbs and sugar, well, that's just going to inflame, make you more in pain.
Right.
So I would really suggest going to Dr. Barry's channel tonight at 6 Central.
Yep. Asking for tips and suggestions. And,
yes.
And just maybe confirmation, if nothing else. And also, even if he doesn't necessarily have personal experience with watching someone deal with this, a bunch of people in the chat probably will. And he can ask for other people to give you, their take on it. It does make sense when you put something in there and your brain starts, dealing with chemicals and stuff, which is what something like oxy is, the pill. It makes sense that it would maybe then flare up other stuff. Also, one thing I can tell you is oftentimes people who are craving carbs and sugar, you can use fat and salt to combat that. So if you're craving sugar, put some salt on your tongue. If you're craving carbohydrates, go eat fat, butter or beef fat or something really fatty. Because if you're just like, oh, no, that doesn't sound good at all. Well, then it doesn't make craving go away, but you can at least recognize it as a craving rather than hunger. And it can help you sort of box that out and say, nope, that's not a thing that I do. And it just gives you some more control, some more power.
Well, I'm not sure why you're on oxy, but I would also assume that if you're on that for pain, that also would naturally raise your cortisol, which would make you want to eat more. It's kind of like a domino effect, probably.
Yep.
And I wanted to throw this up really quick. Lacey actually has a point here that I think is good. Lacey says, oxy will affect dopamine.
Yep.
So I would think you would start wanting to feed that through other methods, i.e. sugar, just my opinion. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right back to that whole thing of spiking dopamine we were talking about with sugar or other drugs.
Yeah.
So
it's
makes
really
total
interesting.
sense.
Yeah. And Kim says that they're sending prayers for Evan.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Jackie says, I just got the right whey protein concentrate and silicone molds. Clicked your links. Fingers crossed for the 90-second bread this morning.
Love it. Well, Jackie, if you have any trouble, let me know. Make sure when you're measuring out your whey that you scoop it gently, that you're not packing it in tight, because you don't want to overmeasure it by packing in a powder like that into a spoon. Level it off. And feel free to play around with the ratios of things like the butter, the timing of cooking, like those kinds of things. You just play around with it a little bit. But if you need help, send me a message. Let me know.
Absolutely, yeah. I love that recipe, though, so I hope you enjoy it.
Oh, so good.
Blue Diamond Bill says, the simplicity of carnivore was what won me over.
Yep.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic.
And Sandra,
Hi, Sandra.
she's here with us. Says, I made the 90-second bread and was a tad dry, so added some sour cream and it worked.
Yes, yeah. If you guys saw that I used sour cream in the bagel recipe, that's something that I started playing with in the 90-second bread recipe, and we'll be doing an updated version of the 90-second bread with all the different things that I've tried to give people options. So,
Yeah.
but sour cream is a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. And Freesteader is here. Says, thanks, Chris and Ash.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for joining, Freesteader.
Appreciate it. And Brian says, Ben is the bomb, along with Anita at Ketogenic Woman and so many more. And now you guys.
Oh, well, thank you, Brian. Yes, Ben Azadi is awesome. What a dude, and love that guy. Anita is the reason Chris Cooking Nashville exists. She was the first one that supported what I was doing way back when I first started the channel, and she is just like family for us. So we love Anita.
Yeah, we told her she's basically like our grandma now. We've adopted her.
Yep.
And she's incredible. Just what a human being.
Yep.
So amazing.
Absolutely.
And then I want to throw this up here. Kim says, I'll do that. Thanks. I've stopped taking it. Thanks for those reminders. I'm drinking electrolytes now, trying just to get through the healing process without pain meds.
Yeah, I know. That's the hard thing is like sometimes, when you go through stuff like that, it's like, which is the lesser evil? Is it take the meds and not experience the pain but have cravings? Or is it don't take the meds and not have the cravings, but that's because you don't want to eat anything because everything hurts so freaking bad? Like, I mean, there's times, and again, keto and carnivore aren't magic pills. Like, it doesn't cure everything, and it can just take a little bit of time and effort. So,
keep
but
us posted.
You're doing great, Kim, and we're here for you. So just let us know how we can support.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
And I love this comment from Carnivore Jerry. As a woman, for me, that rules. Come on, Jerry. Jerry's preaching it. She's preaching in the comments.
She's
it's
preaching,
true.
and you're right there behind her raising hands.
I'm right there. Jerry, I'm about to put something in your offering plate. Yeah. Fat is such a big thing for brain health and all, but especially for women, I think the hormones and settling them out, fat is a huge difference.
Yeah, fat, especially for women, seems to be even more important. Just from my observation, I'm not a woman, I am not a doctor, I'm not anything that could say that from any certainty. I'm just telling you, being a husband, watching my own wife, and being a carnivore and keto recipe creator, watching people in the space that talk to me about what they're going through, my observation says, especially for women, that fat is so important.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah.
And Jerry also says, it was a tough pill to swallow when I learned that you have to actually eat more to lose weight. Mind blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, I understand.
Yeah. And Evelyn says, I just got to meet Anita on the cruise.
Oh, I'm so jealous of you guys that got to go on the cruise, and especially if you got to hang out with Anita.
Yeah. Terry says, I would love to meet Anita. She seems so sweet. She is. She's literally the sweetest human being.
She is absolutely fantastic.
I love her. Great question here.
Yeah.
When eating salmon, what do I do to add fat?
Yeah, so salmon is already kind of fatty. As fish goes, it's a fatty fish, and it's a good fatty fish because you get the omega-3s. But there's a couple of things you can do. One, if you can eat the skin, make sure to eat the skin because that's got that little fat layer on it. That's good for you. The other thing, if you have not seen my butter sauce, my beurre monté video, it's a recipe of just how to take butter and a little bit of water, and it's an emulsion technique that you can pour it over something, and it makes it a little bit thicker of a texture than just melted butter by itself, so it kind of sticks to meat better. You can actually flavor it in different ways too. I would suggest you make a thing of beurre monté, and you take that salmon and you douse it in that butter sauce, and you just add all that extra fat to it. And you can I use water to make it, but if you're not trying to be super strict, you can use lemon juice instead of water and make it a lemon butter beurre monté. Put that over the salmon. That would be amazing. You can add spices to it if you want, whatever. You can even add a splash of cream to it, and you can actually stabilize it even further. It makes the technique easier. If you go watch the video, you'll see it, but it's really, really simple. But if you go to YouTube and you search Chris Cooking Nashville butter sauce, my beurre monté recipe will pop up, and it is very simple. And it is very good. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
That would be a great way to add fat to your salmon.
Oh no, it's delicious, absolutely. Carrie's here, says hello.
Hi, Carrie.
And then Virginia's here, says
Hi, Virginia.
Jerry is one smart cookie. People just don't understand her, I think. I agree. She's a very smart lady.
Yes, we love Jerry.
Very smart. And yeah, Lacey, great point. Fat is where we store our hormones in. That's why when we store fat in our bodies, we end up with hormone disruption.
Yep.
Man or woman. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
That's very cool. Kim says, I just started reading Ben's book, Metabolic Freedom, this morning. I was so excited to come across your live this morning. I love the science sprinkled into your content. Love you guys.
I love it. Thank you, Kim.
We love you too. That's awesome. Well, babe, I think we're all caught up here.
Okay.
Anything else you want to say before we let these fine folks go on about their day?
No, I want you guys to get real excited about the recipe video coming out this Saturday because it's cookout season. It is summer. We are in full-blown cookout mode. And the 4th of July is coming soon, and everybody's going to have their cookouts. So I've got a video on Saturday for you guys that is going to be so applicable to cookout. And it can be keto, it can be carnivore, it can be modified for your recipes. It's going to be really fantastic. So get ready for Saturday. That's going to be great. I think that's pretty much all I've really got for people today. That's
cool. I wanted to throw this up. I'm sorry, this came in after I thought we were done. This is just a cool victory, and I just think we should share.
Leslie Bates.
Leslie Bates is here. Yeah, 22. I don't recognize that name either, I believe. So hello if you're new. Says, hi there, y'all. I finally started my carnivore journey May 29th.
Excellent.
I'm down
Congrats.
16 pounds
and
4 inches in my waist. Shows how inflamed I was. Now I can't wait to see what's around the corner.
Yes, rock on for Leslie.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Congrats, Leslie. We're so glad you're here. Glad you are seeing those results, and let us know how we can support you so you can keep going and you can keep it rocking because you're doing great.
That's right. Oh, that's awesome. Super cool. Yeah, way to go, Leslie, indeed. Cool. Well, I'm excited for this recipe on Saturday. Very, very exciting.
Yeah, so, we're about to go film it right now.
Yes.
So after we get done here and we shut down this live stream, we're gonna go film. We're gonna go film. We're gonna go get some stuff done. So
I did want to say that next week, if you are a member of the band, I believe it is next Friday. We are actually going to be doing a cooking live stream that is private, just for the band members.
Just for the band members.
So yeah, y'all come on, join us if you're in the band.
Speaking of private lives, we are also in the band and in the tribe. If you guys don't know about Dr. Barry's community, the PhD tribe, I also do some work in there. I'm the culinary coach in Dr. Barry's group. So we are going to be doing in the tribe and in the band a private live stream, bringing those two communities together. We're going to be talking with Coach Alyssa.
Yeah.
That's going to be tomorrow afternoon.
Yes, at 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Central Standard Time in the band and in the tribe. So if you are a member of either our private community, the band, or Dr. Barry's private community, the PhD tribe, which we're a member over there as well, if you're in either one of those, then we will be doing a private live discussion with Alyssa. And if you guys don't know Coach Alyssa, she's amazing.
She's killer.
Love her. She's just one of the greatest people. I mean, she's the head coach for Dr. Barry and Nisha. Of course she's amazing. She has to be. You don't get asked to do that unless you're really amazing. But she's amazing. And so we're going to do a private live. It's just going to be me and her, and we're going to talk about some really important stuff. We would love for you guys to be able to be a part of that. So if you're not part of the band, please go to the link in the description box. It's a Mighty Networks group. And now I do want to clarify. People have asked about this. I have YouTube memberships. I also have a Patreon group. Those are the band. And I share everything in there to the best of my abilities as I do in the community, the Mighty Networks community. But Mighty Networks lets me do a lot more, which is why we created it. So eventually, YouTube memberships and Patreon someday will go away. We're keeping it right now because there's a lot of people that really like doing, stuff in Patreon or stuff in the YouTubes, and that's fine. Eventually, someday that will go away. So the band that is the fullest experience, that has the most functionality, is the Mighty Networks group that is linked in the description box. You can go over there and join. Just click the link. It'll take you over there and join. You can be a part of that, and we will be glad to have you and share a bunch of stuff with you. And those are the kinds of things we're doing. Things like this private live stream we're doing tomorrow. It's going to be fantastic. We have a bunch more of those things planned for the future. It's going to be really cool.
Yeah. So that live stream with Alyssa is tomorrow at 2:00 Central.
Yep.
In the band or in Dr. Barry's private group,
Yep.
exclusive to them.
Yep.
And then it's this Friday, June 27th at 4 p.m.
Yep.
Central Standard Time.
Yep.
You are going to be cooking live for the band members.
I am going to be cooking.
You're going to
live.
cook them, show them how to cook some yummy stuff.
I am. It's going to be really, really good, and
Cool.
it's going to be a lot of fun. So we have a lot of fun over there. We'd love to have you guys join. Link is in the description box. Otherwise, hope you guys have an incredible day, an incredible week. Hope this has given you something to think about, whether you're already on the keto or carnivore journey and you're experiencing these mental health benefits, or maybe you're considering it. Maybe this is the piece of information that you were like, maybe I should give that a try. So if you do, please leave us a comment. Let us know that you're trying this. We'd love to hear about your results, and we'd love to celebrate with you, especially if you'd like to come join our group so we can celebrate with you more directly and intentionally. Otherwise, I think that's everything we have.
I think you nailed it, babe.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Have a wonderful Monday. Have a great week. We love every single one of you. This is Chris Cook in Nashville, my beautiful wife, Ash Taylor. You guys remember, eat your meat. Love your life. We'll see you in the studio for a bunch more science-y things like this, in the kitchen for recipes, all kinds of places, and we hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.